What a Great Idea! By Sharon Franklin. Illustrated by Victor Kennedy. Table of Contents. Chapter 1. 3 Young Inventors. Page 4. Chapter 2. The Patent Process. Page 10. Chapter 3. More Young Inventors. Page 12. Chapter 4. You too can be an inventor. Page 16. Glossary. Page 20. Chapter 1. 3 Young Inventors. What do you think of when you hear the word inventor? Maybe you think of someone working hard in a laboratory. Perhaps you see a person bent over a computer, with tools lying all around. Or possibly you see an image of Ben Franklin, Thomas Edison, or George Washington Carver. Would it surprise you to learn that kids are inventors too? Young people have been inventing for a very long time. Keep reading to find out about the great ideas that kids have come up with. Shi Lingxi invents silk. 5,000 years ago, a 14-year-old Chinese empress named Shi Lingxi invented the process of weaving silk. It all started when a silkworm cocoon fell from a tree into a cup of tea that Shi Lingxi was drinking. Shi Lingxi saw that threads appeared when the cocoon came apart in the tea. She pulled on the threads. They were very strong. Shi Lingxi used the threads to weave fabric. The fabric was strong, soft, and beautiful. Soon, her Chinese subjects began weaving silk. Merchants from faraway countries came to China to buy silk, since only the Chinese knew how to make it. All of this was started by a 14-year-old girl. Chester's earmuffs. Thousands of years after Shi Lingxi invented silk, 15-year-old Chester Greenwood invented earmuffs. Chester lived in Maine, a state that has cold winters. Chester's ears got so cold that he could only play outside for brief periods of time. Chester wanted to keep playing outside without his ears getting cold. Then he got an idea. He bent a piece of wire to the shape of his head. He asked his grandmother to sew 2 circles padded with fabric. Chester attached the circles to the ends of the wires. Then he put his creation onto his head. At first, people thought Chester looked funny with his earmuffs, but when they saw how long he could stay out in the cold, they looked at him admiringly. Soon, people were buying earmuffs from Chester. Chester Greenwood didn't stop at earmuffs. He was eventually awarded more than 100 patents for his inventions. Jeannie Low reaches high. Most people would find it frustrating having to struggle to reach up to a sink. Jeannie Low isn't most people. She invented the kiddie stool. When Jeannie was little, she had to stand on a stool to reach the sink in her house. But Jeannie's parents bumped into the stool when they used the sink, which created a problem. Jeannie wanted a stool that wouldn't be in the way. She realized that a step that folded up against the sink cabinet might work. She could fold the step down when she needed it. When she didn't need it, she could fold it up flat against the cabinet. Then, her parents could use the sink without bumping into anything. At first, Jeannie thought she could use wire to attach the step, but she realized that wire could be dangerous. Then Jeannie figured out that magnets would permit her to keep the step in place. Jeannie and her dad gathered some supplies. Together, they built and tested a kiddie stool. It worked. Around the same time, Jeannie's school had a fair where students could display their inventions. Jeannie entered her kiddie stool and won first prize. Soon, Jeannie was appearing on TV to talk about her invention. People wrote articles about her. Jeannie became interested in inventing other things. She joined an inventors club where she could talk with other people about her ideas. Chapter 2. The Patent Process. Do you remember that Chester Greenwood got a patent for his earmuffs? That was so no one else could make and sell earmuffs. Chester didn't want any scoundrels to copy or make money from his invention. Jeannie also got a patent for her kiddie stool. There are several steps required to get a patent. You have to show that no one else has come up with your invention before you. Getting a patent takes time and money. Serious inventors usually hire lawyers. These lawyers make sure that no one else has had the same idea and applied for a patent. They also help fill out the patent application correctly. Jeannie and her parents had to go through all the steps in the chart below before Jeannie got her patent. When she was 10 years old, Jeannie became one of the youngest patent holders ever. How to get a patent. 1. Draw up a sketch and write an explanation of the invention you want patented. 2. Hire a patent lawyer. 3. Have the patent lawyer do a search to make sure no one already has a similar patent. 4. Mail a patent application with the sketch and explanation to the U.S. Patent Office. 5. The Patent Office decides whether or not to give you a patent. This may take years. Chapter 3. More Young Inventors. Inventing to help a friend. Josh Parsons was a 10-year-old baseball player when he became an inventor. He wanted to help someone who was having difficulty in sports. Josh's dad was a baseball coach. He told Josh about a young boy named David who wanted to be on the team. David's arms had been amputated or removed by surgery around the elbows. Despite this handicap, David had learned to catch and bat a ball, but he could not throw. Josh thought he could make something that would help David throw. David had found a way to attach a baseball mitt to the end of one of his elbows. He could catch with it. Josh thought that a scoop on the other arm might allow David to throw the ball. He did some experiments with paper to test his idea. Then he sewed a scoop out of leather. David tried on Josh's invention. First he caught the ball, then he put the ball into the scoop on his other arm. Finally, he swung his arm so that the ball went flying out of the scoop. It worked. Thanks to Josh's invention, David made the team. Inventing for the fun of it. Jeannie Lowe's younger sister, Elizabeth, is also an inventor. One day, Elizabeth was visiting her father at his medical office. Elizabeth was only 4 years old, but she wanted to enter an invention in that year's invention fair. Then, she spotted the rubber gloves her father wore to examine patients. They gave her an idea. Elizabeth took some gloves home and filled them with sand. She bent the fingers. Then she decorated the outsides so they looked fun and cheery. Elizabeth named her invention Happy Hands and took it to the invention fair. She told people her happy hands could be used as paperweights, or to hold toys, jewelry, or other supplies. The judges liked Elizabeth's invention, and they gave her first prize. So many people were interested in Elizabeth's happy hands that she decided to patent her idea. When Elizabeth was 9, she received a patent for happy hands. That made her an even younger patent holder than her sister Jeannie. Chapter 4. You too can be an inventor. Josh Parsons and the Lowe sisters are just a few of our country's young inventors. Every year, students just like you enter invention fairs. Many of these students go on to other fairs and contests, and a few are awarded patents for their inventions. Would you like to be an inventor? Inventing can be enjoyable and rewarding. Think of the fun and pleasure you could give people by inventing something that no one has ever thought of. Would you like to give it a try? The list on page 17 describes the steps you need to take. Read the list carefully, then read the helpful hints on pages 18 and 19. Can you imagine going through this process? How to be an inventor. 1. Come up with an idea for your invention. 2. Research and develop a design for your invention. 3. Create a working model of your invention. 4. Name your invention. 5. Enter your invention in a fair. Putting it all together. To start the flow of good ideas, you have to be on the lookout for things that could be turned into inventions. Carry a pencil and a notebook with you. When an idea strikes, jot it down right away. A quick sketch will help you remember your thoughts. Browse through library books to read about inventors and their inventions. Use an internet search engine to find information on the web. Do research to find out if your idea has already been patented. It would be worthless for you to do a lot of work only to find out that someone has already invented and patented your idea. If your idea hasn't been patented, make a detailed sketch. Also explain how it works. Then, you can have your parents or your teacher help you fill out a patent application. The most important thing is to have confidence in your ideas. Why not give inventing a try? Who knows, you just might become the next Elizabeth Lowe or Chester Greenwood. Glossary. Admiringly, adverb, with wonder, pleasure, and approval. Permit, verb, to let, allow. Scoundrels, noun. Evil, dishonorable people, villains, rascals. Subjects, noun. People who are under the power, control, or influence of others, as subjects of a king or queen. Worthless, adjective. Without value, good for nothing, useless. Reader response. 1. Why do you think the author wrote about Shi-Ling Ci, when instead she could have written more about young inventors from modern times? 2. For each invention the author describes, she explains why it was invented. Use a chart like the one below to list each inventor's invention and why it was invented. 3. Think of some scoundrels you've read about in history or fiction. Name one. Tell what made that person a scoundrel. 4. Go back to the image of Chester Greenwood's earmuff patent on page 6. How did it help you to better understand patents?